We probably should have listened to Carlo on Friday when he told us this.
When I was playing in St. Louis, our last game before the All-Star break was at home against the Capitals. And in warm-ups, I was, doing my thing near the red line, and one of the linesmen was standing there just making sure everything was good. And I skate up and I go, "Did you guys bring your whistles tonight?" And he goes, "Yeah, why you ask?" I said, "Well, make sure you leave them in the dressing room. We want no whistles. We want running clock. We want this game to be over fast because we want to get out of here and into our All-Star break." So that's the mindset for some of these players.
I haven't seen that big of a mail-in since I took a girl to go see the Jonas Brothers and had to fake like I was actually enjoying it. That's what the guys were doing on the ice, just going through the motions, pretending like they were playing hockey. And I guess that's what you get right before you leave for the All-Star game. It's 3:30, an email came in, and you're just not reading it. And that was what was happening in both games, all over the ice. So what I'm going to try to do, all right, you're going to mail it in, then I'm going to take your mail in and try to actually piggyback that to some victories here on this last regular season night before the All-Star break. Now, there's one game to me that I can actually try to really build on. This is the one between the Kings and the Predators. These are two teams where even if this was 2 weeks ago, this next bet that I'm about to say, I would greenlight it. But even more so considering what we just saw last night, and that is the bump it up under in the Kings-Nashville game. And if you're a new watcher of my YouTube channel, you don't know what that means. Well, you know that song, Don't You Know, Pump It Up, You Got to Pump It Up. Well, I've decided to replace the word pump with bump, and I'm bumping up the under 6 to under 6.5. And why is that? Because I know most of the orcs who watch these videos, they treat pushing like losses, so I try to give them a bet that's either winning or losing. And also, in the third period of games, if you see a team's up 3-2, it's a good feeling knowing that if they score that empty netter, you're still covering. And many of these games are 3-2 in the third, and you need that extra goal just to clear that under. So I'm going to take the under 6.5 in this game. I'm going to take the LA Kings because of all the teams on this slate, there's one team who can ill afford to just say, "Oh yeah, we're going to mail this in," and that's the team who's thirsty for a win. They are desperate for a win. They are still in the middle of their worst stretch of the season. This is a team with very high aspirations. If we're being realistic, higher aspirations than Nashville, yet they're clogged in the same part of the standings. And I believe if there's a team on this whole slate who's actually going to bring it, it's going to be the Kings because they can go into the All-Star break at least off the high note of a win and then come out of it knowing that they're coming off that win and can try to confidently finish out the season and reestablish what they did earlier in the year. So I'm going to take the Kings and also that bump it up under 6.5. Don't ever combine money lines with under 6.5. Why is that? Because tell me a score that can cover the money line where you win by 1 and use all 6 goals. Yes, I'm waiting for you because it doesn't exist. You say, wait, what about 4-2? Yeah, then you should be taking the puck line. So if you have to combine, you choose under 7.5 with the Kings, or if you have big balls, you can choose under 5.5, which will obviously be a good payout. Now, I'll return to a player prop or two in that game in a second because I'm going to tell you my philosophy on the night. But first, I want to look at the Senators-Detroit game. If this was any other week during the season other than the random All-Star break, which throws a monkey wrench into things, I would declare ruckus on this game. It'd be a full declaration of ruckus, and that's it. Congress and the Senate, they're both going to sign off on it, and we're sending all our soldiers to battle with 2 points here, 2 points there, and we're going to do all that stuff. But on this particular night, what if Detroit, they've already mentally checked out, just like we saw the teams check out last night? This almost is like breaking a commandment. But there are 2 members of the Scam 5 playing. I'm going to go under 7. And if I pay the price, I pay the price. I'm not dealing with any mail-ins. But really now that brings me to something that I want to talk about on this night in terms of the player props. Every single player on this slate, I personally, I'm not suggesting you do this. You can let me do this swim. Every single person who's listed at under or listed at 3.5 shots, that's their total, I'm taking the under on. Everyone who has their shot totals listed at 3.5. Yeah, that's you, Brady Tkachuk. Yeah, that's you, Kempe. Yeah, that's you, Philip Forsberg. And I think there were one or two other guys maybe. I'm taking the under on all of them, and I'll report back and let you know how it goes. Because if these are mail-in efforts like I saw last night where people are just lollygagging out there and the shot totals are like 11-9 halfway through the game, then you know what? I sneakily like my chances on that front. So here in this Senators game, I'm going to go with that under 3.5 at plus 110 for Brady Tkachuk. And I'm going to combine that with a Dylan Larkin point. I understand there's mail-ins. He's riding like a 12-game point streak, and Detroit has been playing well on their home ice. If they can just put forth a decent effort against an awful defensive team in Ottawa, I want to take the under 3.5 shots for Brady Tkachuk with the point for Dylan Larkin. That's giving you a pretty good price on two props that I like in that game. If you want to go back to the previous game and you want to combine double under 3.5s on the shots on goal, that will give you a big parlay payout. The one thing I've been toying with, but I'm not willing to go there, is the under on some of these goalie saves. Just because, you know, if we get into those games where, all right, let's go to the Sharks, Ducks, let's mail it in. Sharks, Ducks, I'll leave that to you maniacs. There are many injuries in that game. Normally you'd think, oh, two awful teams, they're playing each other, but we're probably going to have no Hurdle. We obviously know there's no Zegras, no Killorn. There are a lot of guys missing from both sides. I tend to think under 6.5 as well. How about we do that? We'll do the bump it up under 6.5 in 2 of the 3 games on this slate. But we even have the under 7. It's unders across the board. Under 6.5, under 7, under 6.5. I'm taking every single 3.5 shot total under, and I'm going to go with Dylan Larkin to register a point. That's what I got for you here on this Wednesday. If you're throwing everything you got at this 3-game slate before the All-Star break, where people are just kind of, then I don't know what to say. But then again, I'll be back with you after the All-Star break to break down more games, but I will be doing picking corners on Friday. I got a lot of questions from the people on the Patreon, so I'm going to try to tackle some of those, talk about some things like I normally do, some overall NHL betting theories and whatnot. Also take a look at some season-long props. How my Carolina Hurricanes looking now? We gave them out at plus 800. This is going to be the second straight year, and they're all gone. You know who's gone. But this is going to be the second straight year that I gave somebody to win the division when they were out of the playoffs, not even in a wild card, and they're going to win the division. And you can still get them at plus money. They're like, really, this is the last chance saloon. Unless you think that Carolina can just lose 2 or 3 and the Rangers can win 2 or 3 and the Rangers can just get up a little bit on it, because they're basically tied. And if you're giving me a tied Canes and Rangers from here to the finish line, I mean, it's a laugh. I'm going to be laughing my way to that bet. All right, guys, I will see you on Friday for Picking Corners. Enjoy the mail-ins. I'll see you then.